What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video by Helmet 49ers podcast. I'm your host, JT, and my co-host is my dad.
What's up, JT?
First, don't forget to like
and subscribe.
Cue the intro music. First, I think before getting to the Buccaneers versus 49ers game, we should get into the Jaguars versus 49ers game first.
Yeah.
Just a quick talk about it because we can get the chance to talk about it.
But what a game, right? Coming off of the bye was so important that we show who we are as a team, and they came through, huh?
Yep. We destroyed the Jaguars 34-3 at Jacksonville. And I think it was a statement win after the bye week. We proved that I think we were back, and our defense was much improved.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Wilkes, I'm not sure if play calling on the field helped, but something changed.
Something changed, yeah. I think, Isaiah Oliver was no longer on the defense. He didn't play pretty much at all. So they changed that up. They put Lennar in the slot and Ambry Thomas on the outside whenever there was a slot receiver. So Isaiah Oliver was no longer there. So I think that was one of them. But I believe we talked about it in the preview for the Jacksonville game, that to get the pass rush, because the pass rush has been so close in the last 3 games before, so close but just never got home for a sack, that we just need to get tighter coverage to force Trevor Lawrence to hold the ball just for another second or two, which would give the pass rush the time they need to get there. And I think that's what was one of the scheme changes that Wilkes chose to do, was get stickier coverage so that these short, quick passes were not going to be open for Trevor Lawrence, and he'd had to hold the ball a little longer and look for his other options. And even though Trevor Lawrence had the, I think, second fastest release time in the NFL up to that game, I think Tua might be the number one, but Trevor Lawrence had the second fastest, like less than 2.5 seconds. So that was fast. But I think that was a big change. Right? What do you think?
Yeah, he got sacked 5 times, probably because of the coverage sacks. Secondary was much better. Because, yeah, like you said, instead of Isaiah Oliver, we put in Ambry Thomas. He made some plays. He got a fumble. It would have been a touchdown, but our players and coaches ran on the field, so that was a flag.
Yeah, that was confusing when we were watching the game. I was thinking, how come they took away the touchdown? How come Shanahan is not like screaming his head off at the referee, and he just accepted it? And I was like, what? And then didn't find out until way later that Shanahan was the guy furthest out in the field, peeking to see what was happening. He thought it was over. He thought it was a turnover, and that was it. And somebody touched Ambry Thomas, and he was down there, but it was not the case. So he was to blame just as much as anybody. So that's why he could not get mad. But that was a great defensive play. Ambry Thomas got toasted a few times, but he played pretty well. Other than that, because Calvin Ridley didn't do much, did he?
No, he had 20 receiving yards. That's it, on 2 receptions.
And that's a number 1 receiver, so that's pretty good to shut him down. Travis Etienne didn't do much either, right?
Yeah. He only had 35 rushing yards, 3.9 yards per carry.
Yeah, I love Travis Etienne as a player, but yeah, the Niners defense shut him down too. So, Bosa had a great game, didn't he? Didn't he cause a fumble when Chase Young and Chase Young, that's right. Chase Young's debut with the Niners in that game too, right? He did pretty good.
Yeah, he got half a sack. And then when Bosa got 1.5 sacks, the half sack was with Chase Young, and then they forced a fumble, so that was really nice to see. And then Javon Hargrave had one half sacks, and Eric Arms had half a sack,
Okay, okay.
including Farrell with a sack.
Hey, I told you I had a little nickname for our defensive ends now. I never told you.
What was it?
The Buckeye Bay Area bookends.
What? That's a long one. A lot of
Maybe
B's.
okay, okay. I threw in Buckeyes because they were both from
Yeah, Ohio
the
State.
Ohio State, right? But at first, when I first thought about it, I was just going to call them the Bay Area bookends because as soon as I saw those two, I was thinking bookends, and I was like, oh yeah, the Bay Area bookends. What do you think?
That's pretty good.
Should I make T-shirts?
I
No,
don't think we
not
can
that
make.
good.
I
Huh?
don't think we can make merch. We don't have enough subscribers.
Well, if anybody wants to buy a T-shirt, just comment. I'll make one. How's that?
Yeah.
All right. So, what else happened in that game?
Unfortunately, Christian McCaffrey's touchdown streak was
Yep,
broken. He's tied for first.
tied first. Lenny Moore, I think. Yeah, a long time ago. I don't even know when that the other streak was, but unfortunately, a lot of touchdowns all around, just not to CMC in this game. Juszczyk got one. Kittle got one. Who else? Ayuk.
Yeah.
Uh, Debo.
Yeah, one rushing touchdown.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one. Um,
But McCaffrey did have 95 yards rushing, which is like a turnaround, a big turnaround. He didn't have much rushing yards in the previous games before.
yeah, yeah. You're right. He was hitting like what 60 yards, not CMC like, but I think he's still leading the NFL right now in the rushing.
Yeah.
So even with that lull he had without losing skid, he's still I think leading the NFL in rushing. So he could be the rushing leader. We use him enough for sure. Yeah. Um.
And then also that one play where the pocket was collapsing for Purdy, and he just chucked it up to Kittle and got a touchdown. That was
I know
unbelievable.
exactly. When I saw that live, I was like, "Oh my god, the guy he could not step in. He's throwing off his back foot. He's not going to have any power in it." And it landed perfectly for Kittle to catch against that linebacker on the right side. Man, I mean, I saw a snapshot, a freeze shot picture of that, of when the pocket was collapsing. It was crazy. Like all four defensive linemen is all around Purdy, and he's tossing it up. You know, man-to-man coverage on a linebacker against Kittle, which is a good matchup for us. And man, he made it happen. You know, after a while, I was like, "Oh, was that luck? Or was that just total skill?" I've seen it enough from Purdy that it looks like it's skill. You know, like that one in the back, his first touchdown to Ayuk in with two defensive backs in the back of the end zone. He throws it up, running to the left, throwing to the right, with two cornerbacks in front of Ayuk.
Yeah, Shannon said that was one of his worst decisions of the year. So he did not like that.
If a touchdown is his worst decision, then yeah, if that's the worst, I'll take it every time. Yeah. So he's got it sometimes, Purdy. He's got it. Um, we just gotta see how he does when he's trailing behind and see how he does there. But right now, when things are chugging along, he's the one that makes it all work.
Yeah.
All right. So
So I think we should move on to the Buccaneers game. That was also a great win. So the 49ers beat the Buccaneers. They beat the Buccaneers 27-14.
that was a pretty good game. Not as dominant as the game before we just talked about against Jacksonville, but they all can't be dominant. But it was in control. So the Niners had control for pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, and Brock Purdy, perfect QBR rating. Perfect QB rating.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
158.3.
I know during the game we were keeping a track on that. We look at the stats and then we're like looking down. I'm like telling you, it's like, yo, Purdy has a isn't that perfect rating? And you said, yeah, yeah, that is. I'm like, oh my god, let's just see if we can keep that up and end the game on that, and he did. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, 21 of 25, 333 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns to 0 picks.
Oh man, that's the last time that was done. It was 1989 with Joe Montana, and Steve Young's the only other 49er to have a perfect rating like that. But I think Purdy had the most pass attempts out of either of those two who had perfect ratings. So he really showed up right there. you know, that's very impressive. Just watching, right? We watched his throws, and he was just layering them right over the top of the linebacker over again and again, right? We saw that. Linebacker's reaching up, jumping up, trying to block it, and it goes right into Ayuk's hands again and again. And I'm like, man, this guy's got the touch, you know?
Yeah, then Chris McCaffrey, he did get a receiving touchdown, but only, I wouldn't say only, but 78 rushing yards, 3.7 yards per carry. No, it's a good amount of rushing yards, but we just like to see the average yards per carry to be higher.
Yeah, it shows more like a dominance, right? Like we're getting like 5.5 yards a carry. That's like we're just running it down their throats, and every 2 carries we can get a first down. So that average is pretty important. It shows the dominance in our run game. Um, this one not so much. We're using Christian McCaffrey like no other player, I think. This guy's a warrior, man. I tell you, he doesn't want to come out, and he gives it his all every time. So, um, a lot of props to him too.
And then for the season, he has 825 rushing yards and 9 rushing touchdowns, leading the league in rushing yards. I think he's like third, tied for third in rushing touchdowns as well.
Yeah, you were talking about possible MVP candidate.
Yeah,
he is
him or
one of
Tyreek Hill.
ours.
Because the QBs that are in the MVP race have thrown kind of a lot of interceptions, not MVP numbers this year. Like
Well,
Patrick
yeah.
Mahomes, he's not playing MVP level.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts not playing MVP level, I think. And Tua Tagovailoa throwing a good amount of picks as well.
Well, there's one quarterback who's been throwing pretty well and throws very little picks. I think you might know
Brock
him.
Purdy.
MVP race. He is a candidate. I tell you.
I feel like they're only going to vote for elite QBs though. The
Oh,
voters.
that is the debate whether he is elite or not. Right now, he is showing that he is because he's leading the NFL in a lot of stats. So very impressive, very impressive. It's just that he was a seventh round pick. If he was a first round pick, everybody would be talking like he's CJ Stroud. But he's a seventh round pick, so people are always having questions. Yeah, but he threw that much but. There's always a but with Brock Purdy. But it's really just because of where he was drafted. They think, well, there must be some problems with him if he went in the seventh round, right? So he's got to just keep proving him wrong. That's all.
And Ayuk with a breakout game,
Whew.
156 receiving yards with a touchdown. And then he caught a 76-yard, I wouldn't say bomb, but a long touchdown.
Yeah, that was pretty deep. When he threw that one, I was thinking, he's not even going to be where the ball's going to land. He did that a couple times. Purdy did. Threw it to a spot. And I was like, where's that ball going? And then, Ayuk just continues his route and boom, perfect. I'm like, wow, that is anticipation and timing. It's perfect. Purdy and Ayuk they've been having a great connection. So that's good.
And then Kittle also got a touchdown. He had 89 receiving yards, of course, a touchdown. It's a pretty good game for his standards. Like sometimes he has like one receiving yard, and then next week he has 100 receiving yards and like three touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. But this is the right amount of usage, right?
Yeah, that's a good amount.
He's a great matchup, and he's got great hands, and his jack ability is off the charts. So I'm glad he's back in the offense. Don't take him out. This guy is so important.
Okay, now we go to the one bad news that happened. Talanoa tore his ACL off
I
a juke from Rashad White. And if you look at the replay in slow mo, his leg was snapped.
Yeah, kind of buckles, like it shakes and stuff. Yeah, I mean when we first saw it, we're like, oh my god. I say, oh, he got depleted by White. You know, he was out juked, but yeah, it was a bad injury. I did not know that until you noticed that he wasn't in the lineup anymore. After that, I didn't notice that he
Yeah, I was
was
panicking
out.
that Jair Brown was in there. Cause like, he's a rookie, but he played pretty well.
The Penn State Jair Brown. Yeah, third round pick, rookie, right?
Yeah, he got 4 tackles, 3 pass deflections, and an interception in the end zone to basically seal the game.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, that was on what, 1 quarter. He did
Yep.
all that in like such a short time. He made such an impact. Now this is a guy in the draft that we liked. You probably liked him even more than I did as a safety, but I just wanted a safety. I've been wanting a safety
Yeah,
forever.
every year we've been begging for a safety.
It's like I want a ball hawk safety. Hard to find. Hard to find.
I mean, College Jair Brown was a ball hawk safety, so that's the best we can get as a ball hawk safety.
His 40 time was not super, like 4.6.
Yeah.
So that's why he dropped into the late third. But, um, hey man, if he has instincts like Hufanga does, and he could be even faster and good hands. And I heard he was great at Penn State on the safety blitz, even better than maybe Hufanga can be. So could this be an upgrade?
Mm,
We'll have to see,
maybe in
right?
a few years. I don't
We're
know.
not going to crown him better than Hufanga, right? T
Yeah,
Huff.
that's too early.
Yeah, we won't be throwing any T's. Maybe just in
The
memory of him for
Jays.
this for that throw up the Jays. Let's see how we're gonna do that. We'll have to practice that.
But I think a lot of my friends are confident now. When Son Gibson retires, I think we'll have a good safety to replace him.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's strong and free safety, these guys can kind of be interchangeable. I don't see one being a total strong safety and one being total free safety. If Hufanga comes back and say Gibson does retire, and if we could play Brown and Hufanga, I think that would be a great combo too.
Oh yeah, and Hufanga, he's Kasian said he can return next year in week 1, so he's not going to be out 4 games next season.
Well, let's see. You don't know about his recovery, rehab, and how the surgery goes, but if he can come back in time and not miss any regular season games, that'd be pretty cool. I know he was looking for maybe an extension this coming year, so
Yeah.
this off season we'll see if there's any type of extension given, or if he'll just let him play on for last year. To give him some extra dough, I'd be nice to extend him a little bit and give us a little extra couple years, kind of give us a deal plus extend him out for a shorter time, 2 years maybe, and give us some extra money. So I think that'd be good. So what else happened in the game?
Well, the 49ers sacked Baker Mayfield 4 times.
Impressive.
Nick Bosa got a sack. Eric Armstead got a sack. Drake Greenlaw and Fred Warner got half a sack, and Chase Young, towards the end of the game, got a sack.
I heard Armstead had a great game. If you look closer at his stats, they were saying something like he had like 12 pressures or something, the most out of
Uh,
the whole D line. So he was really putting the pressure on from the interior. So
Also, Kinlaw looked kind of good.
yeah, we saw his number called a couple of times. He played pretty well, especially against the run. Uh, Probably his last year here, though, huh?
You think it's Armstead's last year?
No, he lost.
Oh,
We
um,
didn't pick up his fifth year, so this is his last.
I think we could sign like a small deal just for depth.
Yeah, possibly. Uh, if he thinks he can get more money somewhere else, then he'll probably jet somewhere else.
Yeah, but do you think the 49ers are out of their slump officially back from out of their slump?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. With Purdy, running all on all cylinders right now. It's looking really good. Everybody's getting the ball. He's spreading it out, well, except for Juwan Jennings. But I think everybody else is getting into the mix, which is perfect. It's much more balanced. Um, a defense. The sacks are coming. Coverage is a little bit tighter. I think we're a little sloppy on the tackling. Uh, this past game too, and this past game, Jacksonville was great. I think we got a little sloppy here. Some more missed tackles. Screen game is getting us a little bit here and there still. But I think that's just how we play our defense. Uh, I think offensively and defensively we're playing better. Special teams is getting better. Money Moody hitting it.
Yep, they were short field goals, but we'll take anything.
We'll take them all. We'll take them all. Not bad for a rookie. We just got to see how he does under
Pressure,
the
game-winning
pressure.
field goals,
Exactly.
game-winning
That.
40-yarder. You know the history he has with 40-yarders in the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl.
Wisnowski's punt, the last punt, really was pretty bad though. He's been awesome. He's been like I think Pro Bowl type punting, but that was a bad punt. He shanked that one pretty bad. It was short, right? Uh, Kind of risked the game at the end there. But other than that, the whole team has been looking really good. Coaching has been really good. I think we need to give CMC a little bit more rest and get Jordan Mason in there for those rundowns.
Yeah, Mitchell was ahead of him in the depth chart, though, unfortunately.
And I've heard he's not Jordan Mason is not playing because he doesn't do well in uh, pass protection. So then that means if he's in, that means they know it's going to be a run, and Shanahan does not want to, you know,
Make it obvious.
make it obvious of what kind of play they're going to run. But when they know it's going to run, and we know it's going to run, and they know it's going to run, it doesn't matter. Put Jordan Mason in then. If you know that we are going to run the clock out, put in Jordan Mason. He can get you 6 yards of carry. I want to see. I want to see Jordan Mason. I keep saying that. We keep saying that. He got his play last year. How come this year he's getting nothing?
I don't know. Mitchell's healthy, and then he's in the bottom of the depth chart. Last year he was second.
That's true. You're correct.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and goodbye.